Welcome back, everybody. We are about to hop into our first adventure of the evening, which is being entitled Escape the Room. But as always, before we hop into our adventure, we are going to take a brief moment and get to know our characters a little bit. So without further ado, let's start doing that. I'm just going to kind of go down the line and ask all of you a little bit about your characters, things like name, race, a little bit about your personality. But let's start with our returning veteran here. We have Elysia Silverblood back once more to adventure.
Yes. Hello, Pete. It's quite nice to be back.
Well, it's very good to have you. So, Elysia, tell us a bit about yourself. What's kind of your mission here? I know, of course, you are a warlock. You worship Solarien, as does your father.
Yes. I've been helping Father with the Cleric or clerical business, my misspeech. And I'm here to do a grand heroic feat of heroism with Bartholomew.
A grand heroic feat of heroism. Is that a specific one that you have in mind, or are you just hoping to someday accomplish something great without any real particular direction?
I haven't quite figured out what it could be, so I've just heard so many great tales of Bartholomew and his troop that I could only imagine would happen sooner rather than later.
I imagine that perhaps even today might be the feat, although maybe not actually today. I take that back, because today is just kind of some very simple team building exercises that you're going to be doing. Bartholomew, of course, needs to get everyone together every once in a while to just kind of, learn and kind of grow as adventurers and improve teamwork. Does Elysia get along well with others? I think in my experience, I've seen you play pretty well.
As best as I can. It's always great coming together. More heroism with more heroes, as the saying goes.
Well, excellent. Elysia, welcome back. It's good to have you again.
Good to be back, Pete.
Great. And next up, we have a first-time hero. I think everyone else here is a first-time hero. We have, and tell me if I pronounced it wrong, but Lumine Darkmoon.
No, it's Lumine Darkmoon.
Lumine Darkmoon. My apologies. So, Lumine, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm obviously a Yuan. I'm a little bit unique, as my scales are quite black.
Okay. Is that just a natural trait, or is that something that you kind of picked up over the course of your life?
It's the result of some unfortunate magic.
Really? What was the nature of this magic? What caused it?
Well, there was a grand wizard who was my master, and I uncovered one of his books, and it kind of led to a sort of inspiration for me. I began to develop new skills and abilities, as you may say.
What abilities do you have? What kind of powers are you bringing to the table as an adventurer?
Well, for one thing, I can command anyone to do something when hurt, or I have a ray of sickness, which may be yet to seen.
Well, I look forward to seeing some of these things in action. And Lumine, I guess I'm sorry, I said it wrong again. Lumine, I guess my last question for you is, what drove you to adventure? What made you want to take up this sort of lifestyle, working with Bartholomew?
The power.
A simple answer, but it says quite a lot. Lumine, welcome.
Thank you.
So next up, we have, and again, tell me if I'm pronouncing anything incorrectly. We have Solarien Armiger. Tell me.
Yes, that is me.
Is it Solarien Armiger?
Armiger.
So Solarien, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a monk. I am a wood elf. And until now, I have hardly seen any other people besides my own tribe in the forest.
Really? What was it about this kind of moment that you decided to come out and to begin kind of exploring the world?
When I was young, I heard grand tales of various locations, and it ignited a traveler's passion in me. So I decided to travel the world and see all its beauties.
So this is something that you were always going to do. It's just sort of happenstance. It's more coincidental that tonight is the night that I see you out kind of exploring the world and beginning your great travels.
Life is all just one big coincidence.
That is excellent. And you said that you left your tribe. You mentioned that you were a monk. Did your tribe train you? Is that where you gained your monk skills? Or are you more kind of self-taught?
Our tribe does have a sect of monks that work to protect nature.
Do you still follow those doctrines and work to protect nature, even though you've kind of separated from your tribe?
I do.
Very good. Solarien, it's good to have you tonight. I'm looking forward to playing with you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, of course. And no need for sir, nothing so formal. I'm just Pete, the narrator. And last but not least, we have our first-time player. We have Ainz joining us tonight. Ainz, welcome.
It's good to have.
So Ainz, tell us a bit about your character. Who will you be playing?
I will be playing a man by the name of Ainz Silverthorn.
Ainz Silverthorn.
He's a rather gruffy-looking elf. Kind of tall, but not too gangly. He's maybe 25, 26, or he could be 400. You can't really tell with elves.
Yes.
But,
I was going to say, and Ainz, I made the mistake of saying, tell me about your character. Of course, you're telling me about yourself. I don't know why I would have ever been possessed to have made a statement like that. So Ainz, what brought you into Bartholomew's adventuring troupe? What made you want to go out and do great deeds, or whatever it is that you intend to do?
Well, that's kind of a deep question.
I suppose so.
Well, let's see. To give it proper, you have to go back a little bit to my roots. I grew up in a small town of Elmira. My father was my only parent. My mother, I'm not sure where she is or if she even cared or if something happened. Father didn't really like talking about it much, but my father was an elven knight of the royal court, and he was kind of, as a hobby, liked magic, and I loved my father very much. So I kind of took after him with the arcane arts. But unfortunately, things happen, and he died tragically, and I guess I'm just on a quest of revenge, or vengeance would be the closest I could describe.
I'm sorry to hear that about your father, but I suppose as tragic as kind of your circumstances may be, it has brought you here now, which could only be a good thing. So
it has indeed.
Welcome to you as well, Ainz.
Thank you.
So without further ado, let's begin our adventure. So for those of you who are unaware, the adventures that you generally will go on here among Bartholomew's Adventurers troupe are given to you by, you may have guessed, a wizard by the name of Bartholomew. He's very old, and he sends you all over the world doing various quests for various individuals throughout the land of DnDTime. But today is actually a special case. You've joined on kind of a strange occasion. He has gathered all of his adventurers together, all of the adventurers among this troupe, and sent them to Camp Crystal Lake. It is just this kind of beautiful natural lake campsite. I'm sure Solarien, that you appreciate some of just kind of the natural splendor that you're being introduced to as you're kind of moving around this area. And he's brought all of those adventurers here to improve cooperation and teamwork. For today are team building exercises. You've been kind of grouped up into 4-man squads, as is generally kind of the practice in Bartholomew's adventuring groups, and you're being kind of sent around. There's all different stations with different miscellaneous types of team building exercises. You can see people doing, all of the adventurers gathered, you can see people doing things like trust falls over in the distance. There's just a lot of different kind of general, just kind of fun and games activities going on. Where we begin officially, you stand next to a kind of a small house that seems to have been constructed. It doesn't match the construction of a lot of the surrounding buildings. It looks like it was made specifically for this team building exercise. It has kind of a chimney that rises out the back with a light kind of puff of smoke. It looks very rustic, but the windows appear to be drawn and covered over. You can't really see inside of it. And standing next to it is a small gnome, a gnome by the name of Rodger. You recognize this as Bartholomew's chief intern, who runs the shop alongside of Bartholomew, who's there kind of to kind of tell you what your first activity is going to be.
Oh boy, I love this adventure. All right, everyone. So I know some of you are kind of new around here, but that's all right. This is gonna be I love this particular one. This is my favorite team building exercise. Basically, what you're gonna need to do, it's called Escape the Room. Are you familiar with the concept? Anyone?
Yes.
Of course.
I do not believe so.
Is it a mimic room that chases us?
No, it's nothing quite that bad, Elysia. No, all you got to do is basically you go inside, and then there are all sorts of different puzzles and traps and all that goodness. And as a team, you have to come together and figure out all of the puzzles and things to get out. It's so much. It's really just great. It allows everyone in the group, no matter how small and weak and relatively unskilled you might be.
He says, kind of looking at the ground dejectedly.
Well, even they get to contribute. People like that.
He looks back down at the ground, kind of sad.
Anyway, so yeah, you guys, if we can get you all to get in a nice orderly line and go up the stairs and head in, you should head into the first room. I wouldn't worry. Nothing in here should actually be dangerous. We're pretty well. We're up to code now since I started working here. Bartholomew used to do things a little bit hectically, but you should be safe.
Should be.
Yeah, well, no, I mean all the weapons should be padded. It's all fine.
Well, all right.
Sounds safe to me.
Yep.
This sounds like quite an interesting exercise.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's my favorite.
And at this point, you see the door just kind of naturally, without prompting, just kind of creak open, beckoning you inside.
I'm gonna be waiting out here just to make sure no one else goes in during the exercise. That way, you guys aren't disturbed.
Suspicious.
I'm a camp counselor. Look, I'm not supposed to actually participate. Gosh, I'm gonna be over there on the beach.
But it sounds so fun. You won't come with us, Rodger?
No, I'm afraid I can't. Bartholomew forbade me from having any fun.
That's stupid.
I know, those were his exact words. I can almost hear them now.
Fun is what you make of it.
Anyway, come on, everybody in. He starts to push you all toward the open door.
So you all, as you're all kind of bustled into the house by Rodger, he kind of says a final goodbye as the door closes behind you. You enter out. The space that you find yourself in as the door closes is a small, it looks like a wooden cabin. Within, you can see that there's a fire kind of roaring over in the fireplace. Very big, very kind of healthy fire. There's a few a few chairs, like a love seat over in front of it. On the far side of the room, there's a desk and there's a bookshelf, and there's all kinds of little trinkets and odds and ends and books that are in various places around the area. One of the things that's the most kind of eye-catching as you enter, however, is the head of a giant eagle that seems to be mounted on kind of a plaque above the mantelpiece, which is moving and kind of looks at you as you enter in. What do you all do?
Can I check out the eagle head?
Yeah, absolutely. As you get closer to it, you're kind of going up and kind of investigating it, and it's kind of staring at you, its eyes blinking. And as you get closer, it just says, "Ah, hello there!"
Well then, this is a very interesting turn of events.
That chicken's talking.
I am no chicken, I am a mighty griffin, or at least I may be. I have only ever been a head upon a plaque created by Bartholomew, so I like to imagine that I am a griffin, master of air and sky. Wait, air, sky, and land, all three things. The three major things, air, sky, and land, not just sky like a bird or a chicken. But welcome, you're about to attempt this escape the room challenge. And as he says that, you can hear behind you kind of the clicking of locks and the door that's kind of shut now. You see now there's like 3 heavy padlocks that hang off of the door handle behind. And the bird kind of continues to speak. In this exercise, you will be doing what is referred to as role-playing. Are any of you familiar with this term?
Like rolling down a hill?
Not precisely. Now, the 4 of you are adventurers in Bartholomew's retinue. However, in this instant, you must imagine that you are not truly adventurers, but rather scared captives of a deranged killer, and you're trying to get out of his house. You have 30 minutes to do so, starting once I've finished my explanation.
What did you say? I am me.
This may be difficult to understand. Let's actually cut the roleplay out of it. You have 30 minutes to get out of this house, but you're not allowed to break down any of the walls or destroy the environment.
But what about this killer you mentioned?
Oh, he's just a hypothetical in this situation. There really is no killer.
That's what they all say.
Can I check to see if he's lying about there being a killer?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
So would that be a D20?
Roll a d20 and add your wisdom modifier and your proficiency if you are proficient in it. For future reference, and 16 is good. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to kind of determine. His mannerisms are a bit strange because, I mean, he's a bird mounted on a wall, which is already a bit weird. But with a 16, you whoa, all of a sudden there's just a bunch of with a 16, yeah, you think he's telling the truth. He seems pretty forthright. From what you know about Bartholomew, it's probably just like he's just programmed to say certain things. So, you know, it seems honest. And if you want to roll checks in the future, if I ask for a skill check, under the skills section of your character sheet, if you just click the word insight where it appears there, it'll roll it for you and add any relevant modifiers as well.
Thank you.
No problem at all. So yeah, you're actually proficient, so you get a +4 to that. So yeah, you definitely think he's telling the truth. So yes, there is no killer. So if you have any further questions for me, actually one additional rule I forgot to mention. Once the timer has begun, you're welcome to ask me up to 3 yes or no questions about the room, which I will answer truthfully. Hints, so to speak. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the way the game works before it begins?
How many rooms do we have to go through in order to win this little exercise?
You must only get back out the door that you entered in through, which you see behind you now. That's locked with 3 heavy padlocks, as I described previously.
Can I attack the bird? Or sorry, can I attack the bird?
You can ask me if you could attack, unless you say in character. Did you ask in character if you could attack the bird?
Yes.
Okay. No, I would prefer it if you didn't.
I think the key's in his head.
I think that is extremely unlikely. Also, destroying the environment is grounds for disqualification, and I would imply that I am part of the environment.
Touche.
Thank you.
I say we break his head open.
It seems like you've made a decision about how you're going to proceed, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer now. And you see as a small kind of hourglass that is kind of next to him, mounted on the wall, just kind of magically flips over, and the timer begins. You are inside of a room. You may go about exploring it and trying to get out of it. And as the hourglass begins to tick down, and the bird just says, "That hourglass is about 30 minutes." What do you all do?
You said there is a bookshelf, correct?
Yep, there is.
Can I walk over to the bookshelf?
All right. You walk over to the bookshelf. You can see there's like a few kind of pieces that are just sort of decorative that are along the bookshelf. There are, jars with kind of things floating in them and like, the skull of some creature, and there's tons and tons of books.
Can I see if I see anything out of place on the bookshelf?
Go ahead and make me an investigation check. All right, you're looking through. You don't notice initially anything that seems just very kind of like out of the ordinary, that doesn't seem like it fits in within it. It's mostly just books. You kind of start reading through titles of books. There's one that's just like The Clown's Companion, the next title, To Serve Man, then Of Fleet and Fancy, Mysticism and Practical Divination, and you're just kind of like moving through book titles. Nothing really initially stands out to you as being in particularly suspicious.
Gotcha.
Can I look around the room just to see if there's anything stands out?
All right, let me start just kind of describing the various things in the room. You can see that there's a desk atop of it. There's things like an inkwell and paper. You can see there's a small you can see there's a small journal, is what it appears to be, that's open on the table or on the desk. There's a love seat and two chairs around kind of a table at the center of the room. And on the table, there's a bunch of cards laid out. They appear to be tarot cards of some kind. There's the fireplace itself with the head above it. There's the bookshelf, which, as I described, has a bunch of just kind of miscellaneous objects and books upon it. There's the fireplace itself, which is roaring pretty vigorously. You can see that the log, it's just magical flame. It's very clear instantly, like the log is not actually going down at all. And anything else? There's kind of like a small coat hanger that's on the inside of the door. There's like a pile of boxes. Just some miscellaneous kind of like trappings that implies that the place is lived in, probably more for decoration than overly significant.
Can I go see the journal?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to go check out the journal. What is everyone else what is everyone else doing?
Elysia will go have a look at those tarot cards on the table with the love seat.
Okay.
And Ainz is going to go investigate the padlocks.
Okay. So first off, you were looking at the journal. You're kind of going through it, and at first it just seems to be the journal of someone just kind of like, and this takes a little time. How I guess my first question is, how in depth are you going? Are you just kind of like skimming it and just roughly looking at it? Or
no, I'm looking at it very deeply, since I'm a sage with the research ability.
Oh, cool. So you really start kind of like digging in. It takes you a chunk of time as you're going through it, but you read it and it kind of starts out as just the journal of someone's life, of someone who's like living in the woods, and you can see it slowly starts to kind of descend in terms of like quality of writing and handwriting and the subject matter. It starts to describe how this individual, the owner of this house, has like captured people and killed people, and as you get to the end, the kind of the final phrase upon it is what does it sound like when a bird laughs? And then after that, it's just lots of like etchings of different like onomatopoeia, like ha ha and hoo-hoos, all just kind of in scattered writing on the last page as it just kind of devolves into nothing. So that's what that's the last intelligible thought, though, was what does it sound like when a bird laughs? And then all of these like just nonsense after that.
Okay, can I do anything else? Okay.
Well, I'm just going to go around and go with everyone else that wanted to do something. You're looking at the tarot cards, Elysia. As you're kind of reviewing them, there's a whole bunch of different tarot cards. They're not actually tarot cards you're looking at them. They're kind of designed like that, but you're not seeing anything. Would you say Elysia would be familiar with the tarot?
Vaguely, she knows that Father does have quite a preference for it.
So yeah, you're going through and it doesn't look like it's actually like a traditional tarot deck. All the cards are kind of like custom on it, and there's just different things there. There are cards for the elements. There's a fire, an air, an earth, a water. There are cards for the sun, the moon, the stars. The moon card is naturally kind of appeals to you a little bit more as a worshiper of Selune. It's very beautifully drawn. But as you're going through and kind of reading them, I would like you to make me an Arcana check.
Okay, and I'm going to get a little guidance on that.
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, maybe I'll break 10.
You're going through and you're kind of shuffling through the cards, and you can tell just by like the film that there is some kind of like light enchantment on these cards, although you're unable to, with that roll, kind of discern what the nature of that is. But these cards are in some way enchanted.
Did they seem to be in a special order?
They were just kind of like stacked and kind of strewn about the table, very kind of, they were very scattered actually. They almost seemed like they did not seem to have any real particular order.
Elysia will stack them up to see what the rest of them think of these cards.
And you go over and examine the locks. Make an investigation check for me. Who was it that said they were looking at the locks?
Ainz.
Okay, cool. Yeah, make me an investigation check, Ainz. All right. Yeah, you go up to them. There are 3 of them layered. They're all like different makes. They look kind of like old and rusted, and they kind of like wrap around a chain that's kind of like holding the door in place.
Are there keyholes?
Yeah, each one of them has a keyhole in it. The shapes of the locks are different enough that you assume that no one key would work on all of these locks. You probably need 3 keys.
Gotcha.
You kind of, are able to intuit that finding these 3 keys is probably going to be the trick to getting yourselves out of here.
All right. So
yeah,
You've
all like done one thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn around and kind of relay like, I think we're looking for 3 keys, fellas and madam.
And then I'll say, we need to make the bird laugh.
Maybe we could show him a card trick. I found this nice deck of cards.
Can I go examine the fireplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make an investigation check. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for as you're kind of trying to get into it?
Not anything in particular per se, but just trying to observe it to see if there's anything odd about it.
Okay. Yeah, as you're kind of looking into it, the fire, it burns very hot, which you noticed initially. You can tell that the fire is unnatural, as I kind of described to you before. There's this one log. As you're looking through, you can see under and behind it, the chimney opens up a little bit wider than a chimney actually should. It seems like there's a surprising amount of space that's like above, back, and kind of behind it. That's about all you're able to discern.
I relay the information about the chimney to the rest of the group. There seems to be a wider portion of the chimney towards the back of it.
Can I use that on the fire? It says necrotic damage, but chill touch, I'm assuming it freezes.
Usually what it does is it kind of like drains life, but you can try it if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna cast that onto the fire.
Okay. You watch as the hand kind of comes out and appears over kind of the base of the fire. It's the hand itself is kind of smaller than the actual. In my brain, it's always a hand. I guess it doesn't say that in the spell. The spell itself is kind of smaller than the actual size of the fire. As it strikes it, you see the fire kind of like flicker and kind of waver for a moment. But in the moment that it's put out, as I described before, since it's kind of magically fueling itself, the fire just kind of like picks right back up again.
Elysia will make a little small talk to the bird because we have to make it laugh, so she's going to give it her best bird joke.
Is the bird mounted to the wall, or is it just hanging there?
The bird is kind of like mounted on the wall.
Okay.
So,
all right, yeah.
How do you catch a unique bird?
I have no idea how one would catch a unique bird. How would one?
You see, unique up on it. And how do you catch a tame bird? The tame way. Unique up on it.
Go ahead and make me a performance check, but I'm going to give you advantage because you made me laugh. As you kind of say, is guidance on that, I assume, as well?
I would love for that to be on it. Let's go.
Yeah, as you say that, the bird kind of is looking at you. You get to the first part, and then you say the second half of the joke. It's going, how would one? And you just, that is, and out onto the ground you hear ding, 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 as he spits onto the ground a small silver key.
Disgusting.
That is.
You found one of the 3 keys. Wait, I've provided you with no additional information. You already figured that for yourself, so it's fine. Don't forget, you can ask me 3 yes or no questions.
That looks quite uncomfortable.
Behind the fireplace.
Say again?
Is there a key behind the fireplace?
Yes.
All right.
You said there was a chest?
Key.
There wasn't a chest. Yeah, there's actually there's no chest in this room.
Can I dive through the fire?
Yeah, it's gonna be. You can tell it's burning pretty hot. It's probably gonna hurt. You can tell if you want to do so, but you can do that.
Can I back up to the door and just full out sprint and try to get through it as quickly as possible?
Yeah, that what you want to do?
Yep, I'm gonna do that.
Wait,
all right.
I think I can help you here. And Elysia will cast Presto and try to snuff out the fire.
At the exact same time. Nice!
All right, cool. So I'm going to have you make me, this is just going to be we'll call this an acrobatics check, and I'm going to give you advantage because Elysia is helping you. So go ahead and make me an acrobatics check.
Sure.
13. You have advantage though, so go ahead and roll again.
13.
Okay, 13 it is. All right, so as you run and dive through the fire, like I said, it is still burning very, very hot. Not actually as bad as it could have been. You take 3 points of damage, but that is actually going to be halved to only 1 point of fire damage as you duck down into the fire pit. As you get past the fire, you can see that now that you're in the chimney, and the chimney is much wider than a smaller chimney, or wider than that makes sense. Obviously, it's much wider than a normal kind of chimney size on the inside, and it kind of goes up into a smaller opening that looks like what the chimney that you saw on the outside, and there's a metal grate preventing exit out the top, nearer the top of the chimney. And there's also you can see some bricks that are there for you to kind of use as handholds to climb up into it.
Okay. Can I go ahead and climb?
Yeah, make an athletics check for me.
Sure. Crap.
All right. You get kind of a few bricks up, and you kind of catch one. Maybe it was like maybe this was a fault in the design. Maybe it was here on purpose. Either way, it messes you up as the brick kind of like comes out a little bit and slips, and you fall down. The chimney is not like incredibly tall, so you're only going to take a d6. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as you crash into the ground. You all in the room behind kind of hear. You kind of hear as he just crashes down and falls into it.
Ow!
Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right.
Do you need healing? Do you see the key?
I don't. It's dark.
Oh, I can fix that. I will cast light on the moon tarot card and flick it in.
Cool. Yeah, you watch as it suddenly becomes kind of lit up. It's not completely, it wasn't completely dark because of the light of the fire kind of coming back up in, but you toss the tarot card in, and as the tarot card goes through the fire, you take 1 point of psychic damage, and the card fizzles up in kind of red smoke.
Idiot.
Do you mind if I give it a whirl?
Yeah, which one do you want? There's still the sun, stars, and the elements.
I was talking about climbing. I do have dark vision.
If you want to duck past the fire, which is still kind of burning in the fireplace, you can do that.
Come on in. It's cozy.
It's going to be a little bit tight with 2 people. It's going to be an acrobatics check. So you run and dive through into the fire. Oh man, low rolls on these damage. As you duck through, you take half damage as you avoid the flame for the most part, but you're still going to take 1 point of fire damage as you're now kind of packed in there. With Ainz, Solarien, and you're both just kind of now standing upright, arms kind of at your sides inside of the space.
You know what? Can I have him like jump on my shoulders?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how tall is this chimney?
The chimney is only about, to get up to the top, it's only about 25, maybe 30 feet tops.
Okay.
So yeah, if you boosting him up on your shoulders, then kind of pushing him up with your hands, you can get him like a solid half of the way. If you want to make the check from there, I'll give you advantage on it. Solarian.
What check would that be?
So that's going to be athletics to kind of get up in there, and also Elysia, it seems that that these cards were enchanted, and the fact that the fire was able to burn them means that that fire either destroyed the enchantment or that fire was part of it.
Elysia.
Yes.
Any chance you would go to the locks and see if they're magical?
So yeah, you climb up these bricks on the inside of the chimney, and as you kind of get, wait, is my music? Why is my? Hold on a second. My music seems messed up. Nope, fixed it. So yeah, as you get up higher and higher and closer to the top, I'd like you to make me a perception check.
Alrighty.
Yeah, you're not quite able to kind of make anything out in that space. And then as you're up there, just kind of in the top of the chimney, there's the grate up above you, which is preventing you from leaving, which you're kind of holding on to. All of a sudden, out of kind of nowhere, a hand punches through the chimney. Does a 16 hit you? What's your armor class?
My armor class is 15.
All right. A hand kind of reaches through and crashes through the chimney, a huge machete in its grasp. The hand is kind of it seems to be almost covered in fur, and as it does, you kind of lose your kind of gripping on the section of the chimney, and you see this bright gleaming silvery machete as the light from a little bit of the kind of like the dusk light that's still filtering in is kind of reflecting off of it, and you are kind of like pushed back and fall down. You have at the bottom, you have Ainz there to kind of catch you, so you're fine. He is able to catch you, and so you won't suffer fall damage, but you do take 9 points of slashing damage as this machete suddenly just crashes through the top of the chimney. Are you still up after that pretty hefty hit?
I am unconscious.
Oh, man. Yeah, you see this as well, and now there's light kind of like filtering in through the top of the chimney, where you're able to see actually on the ground glinting from the fire as well, Ainz. You have your unconscious friend next to you, but also it seems like it looks like there's like a false brick or something, because the key is now just on the ground, but that false brick was knocked out by whatever crashed through the chimney ceiling there.
So we got some good news and we got some bad news. Good news, found another key. Bad news, he's unconscious.
What is
I just kind of moan a little bit.
Okay, wait, can I see it? The machete guy?
No, it's just a hand that punched through, and then after you were knocked down, the hand kind of withdrew.
Okay, can I tell him to? Oh, here. Wait, who's unconscious? What the?
I am.
It is Solarien who's unconscious.
Solarien, someone drag Solarien towards me.
There's fire in the way.
Yeah, you guys are on the other side of the fire. You've gotten yourself in a little bit of a tricky spot.
Damn it! There has to
Can
be a
we
way.
see Solarian?
You can see. Actually, it's a little bit tough. Yeah, I'll say you can see Solarien if you got to get up close.
Okay, scooting in a little close, for the first time ever spending a sorcery point, Elysia will distance spell Cure Wounds on this poor child.
You're Sorcerer. I'm sorry. I said you were a Warlock in the introduction. That's my bad.
So good.
Oh, cool. So you cast Cure Wounds at range 30 feet. Perfect utility. As you
That
feel...
heals 9, not 6. My bad, it didn't give my ability on it.
No problem. Solarien, as you're kind of there on the bottom of the chimney, you all of a sudden air intakes and refills your lungs as you are now there kind of like collapsed within the chimney, but conscious once more as this healing energy kind of washes away the pain, and you are back standing up, crumpled into this confined space inside the chimney alongside of Ainz.
I suggest we get out of here while we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab him and kind of just look at him. I'm gonna go, okay, we got some good news and we got some bad news. And kind of say the same thing. We got a key, but you were knocked unconscious.
There was a rather sharp machete connected to a burly arm, so I think we might have some sort of trouble with us.
I agree.
So, what are the rest of you doing? Elysia, you still got these cards.
Wait, isn't there that story about fighting fire with fire? And she will pick up the fire card, about to throw it in.
You take the fire card. Do you throw it in?
Yes, unless anyone stops me.
Nope, do it.
Fire card and fire.
You toss the fire card into the fire. It burns and kind of flares a little bit, and then you take another point of psychic damage as it kind of puffs this red smoke again as the card dissipates.
Wait, how many cards are there?
There's now 6 cards left.
Question.
Wait,
I look at the fellow that's that's standing next to me. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong are you? Toss me.
Oh man, you're gonna have him throw you through the fire. Although
Yeah, I can't get enough speed to jump through it. Toss me.
Yeah, I think that was said by Lumine, who's on the other side of the fire. I think the question was for Solarien. Do you want to try and toss Ainz through the fire?
I'm still at 10.
Okay. Fair. I mean, unquestioningly, obviously. So Solarien, do you want to try and toss Ainz?
Oh, I'm not asking. I'm telling.
Place.
I think you were cut out for a second there. I couldn't quite hear you, Solarien.
I will place. I will toss him through the fireplace.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was weird. Your Discord might have bugged for a second there. Yeah, go ahead and make me a strength check as you're going to just toss him through the fireplace.
Elysia will help again.
Before he tosses me, I'm gonna grab that key.
Yeah, you have the key.
Yep.
You toss him through. It's not an particularly great toss, and it doesn't end up because you have to kind of like the space you need to get the momentum in. You still end up like kind of holding his body under it a little bit to get it through. So, oh man, you take 8 points of fire damage as you pass through the flames.
Yeah, I'm completely unconscious.
Oh my god, yeah, you watch as he goes through the fire and his body's just kind of burned as he collapses down to the ground.
Elysia will play the medic, kind of getting on her knees beside him, and she will use Healing Hands to give him 3 hit points.
All right. You stand once again. You're outside of the fire. You're still in a lot of pain from the burn wounds as you get out of this kind of weird situation you find yourself in. But you stand once more, Ainz, and you are refreshed with 3 hit points.
As I kind of like tap out the embers on my clothing and kind of just stop burning, I kind of look at her and go, "Oh, it's a bit warm. Thanks."
No problem, my friend.
So yeah, what's everyone doing at this point? You got 2 keys. 1 remains.
Can I go look at the tarot card again?
You have the tarot. There are 6 tarot cards left. There is the sun, the stars, the void, and then there are 3 of the elemental ones left: the earth, water, and wind.
Is there a way I can narrow it down to which ones I like a magic kind of check?
Yeah, go ahead and make an intelligence. This is just going to be a flat out intelligence roll.
Okay, that's pretty good.
All right, yeah, you're looking. Nice roll. As you're looking over the cards, I mean, you've seen what's happened now. You've seen him throw them into throw the cards into fire, which seems to activate them in some way. And then you saw kind of Elysia grab her head in pain afterwards. I mean, it seems like throwing them into the fire is the correct thing. It's just a question of the right card. And there's one obvious choice in there for which card would be the most effective against fire, I think.
You're all idiots.
As he grabs the water card and throws it into the fire.
All right. As you do so, the water card kind of evaporates, and there's a puff of blue smoke as the fire slowly kind of fizzles out, and just kind of a light drift of smoke kind of wafts upwards into the chimney. As you are now free to pass through easily, Solarien.
Lumine laughs hysterically.
And Ainz just kind of has this dumbfounded look on his face, like, really?
I walk through the now put out fire pit.
Very good, very good. So you have 2 of the keys. You've kind of messed around with the tarot cards and all of them. You have 2 questions also remaining for the mounted eagle head, if you're interested.
How large is this room, dimension-wise?
It's about 25 by 25 or so, maybe a little bit bigger than that, maybe like 30 by 30 at the biggest.
Okay, I'm gonna stand in front of Mr. Chicken, and I'm gonna ask him, is the other key within a 10-foot radius of me?
He kind of thinks for a second, as I think for a second, and he just goes, "No."
All right. And I kind of just sit there, kind of just thinking.
Okay.
And where in the room is the head of the griffin?
It's mounted above the fireplace, which is opposite the door that you came in.
What's on the opposite end of the fireplace?
Opposite is like I said, it's the wall with the door on it, and the lock with the keys. There's like a coat hanger next to it. Opposite, also more immediately opposite the fireplace, there's like a bunch of, chairs. There's like a love seat and 2 chairs.
You said there were some boxes earlier in the room?
Yeah, there are a few crates over on the side of the room.
How far away from the griffin head?
Or I guess a better question, how far away
they're close. They're farther. They're closer to him. They're within range of the thing. You don't think they're in there?
Okay.
Oh, aren't there some people that can use coat hangers like keys? Maybe that's the key.
So you're gonna go over and check out the coat hanger?
Yes.
As you do so, go ahead and make an investigation check.
I will get some guidance on that as I poke my nose about.
All right. You kind of are just kind of like grabbing onto it, just like a coat hanger. There's not actually any coats hanging from it. But as you pull kind of on one of the hooks, you see it kind of like comes down a little bit, and you see, you hear kind of like a clicking sound, and you see over as on the side of the room, you see kind of a small door raise up in the ground as it has revealed some kind of trap door.
A secret passage!
Can I perceive if I can, like, hear anything down there, kind of like as like a surprise, like if it's like the guy with like the furry man?
Go ahead and make a perception check. Yeah, both of you, go ahead and make perception checks.
All right.
You hear a sound, Ainz, and it seems to be coming from like kind of outside of the walls, over on the right side of the room. You're not even able to pick this one up, even with a 16 Solarien. But Ainz, you hear just the faintest. It sounds like just heavy breathing that's kind of like coming from outside. You're just hearing. Is the sound that you hear. Yeah, it sounds extremely safe.
That sounds fantastic.
So yeah, the trapdoor has now just kind of opened up into the basement. Do you all want to scope that out?
Is there any light coming from the trapdoor?
There isn't. It's completely dark.
Can I cast this into it, kind of light things up a bit for a brief moment?
Yeah, the firebolt kind of cascades down the stairs, and you can see the foot of a skeleton that's just kind of sitting, laying against the wall, stone floors, wooden steps. That's about as much as you can kind of take in this one instant.
Okay.
Elysia will kind of excitedly come forward and put out her right hand, Monty, and bring forth her viper wand.
Yes.
Give a little boop of light on his nose and begin trailblazing down to the basement.
All right, Elysia, you're kind of leading the way into the basement, and as you get kind of to the bottom of the stairs, you can now see the light in this kind of just bare stone room, and there's 3 skeletons that are kind of sitting. The one at the back wall, you can see it has kind of like a collar around its neck with a key hanging from it. But as you enter into the space, the 3 skeletons all kind of, their bones start kind of like jangling and rattling, and they all stand and animate. And the one with the key very quickly like takes it, and you see him just kind of like put it in its skull where it's now jangling around. I'd like you guys to roll for initiative. Also, what was your marching order as you kind of entered into this space?
I followed directly after.
All right, so we have Elysia first. So was that Elysia and then Ainz, was it that said that? I haven't memorized all your voices yet. And then was that Solarien and then Lumine, or was Lumine before Solarien?
I thought I was third.
All right, so it's okay. Cool. So it's Elysia, Ainz, Lumine, and then Solarien as you kind of are hopping down the steps. As you are kind of walking down the stairs, you open up into this space, and you see these 3 skeletons. They're going to roll for initiative as well. Which they get an 8. So we have a natural 1. The first to act, fittingly, is Elysia. What do you wish to do?
First, to clarify, is this a very single file stairway down, or could it be?
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Oh boy. She will... Oh man, skeletons, so undead. This is going to be a bit on the cheesy side, but going undead, she will... Oh wait, I am about to click on the wrong spell. She will create a silent image of the great famous cleric Lance Silverblood in front of her.
You create this sudden image of Lance that stands before these 3 skeletons. They all kind of look at it and are, they're intently gazing at it. Is there anything else on your turn?
That will do it.
In that case, the next to act is, the next to act was, Lumine. What do you wish to do?
Okay, so Lumine shoves everyone out of the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a little bit tough to push past people. It's like double movement to kind of squeeze past everyone on the stairs.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
fine. I'll just shove past everyone. That's fine.
Yeah, so you get down past, or no, I mean, like, I'm not saying it takes up your whole turn. I'm just saying it takes up twice as much movement. So you can get to the bottom of the stairs, and then do something if you wanted to at the bottom of the stairs. But if you want to get up in melee, you wouldn't be able to unless you wanted to double move.
So I can't do a spell.
You can do a spell still, yeah, as long as it's ranged.
Okay, so I shove past everyone, get to the bottom of the stairs, and cast Ray of Sickness onto all these guys.
All of them?
Or actually, I can only do
one. It's just one. Are you gonna go after? There's the one with the key, and then there's the 2 next to each of them.
The one with the key.
Okay. You fire. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
So is it just hit dice, or?
So roll a d20 and add your spell attack bonus. 9. And then what's your bonus to hit?
Where do I find that?
It's going to be under your spell attack bonus, which is going to be on the spells page at the top somewhere. It'll be like +5 or something along those lines.
+4.
+4. Okay,
yes.
So that is a 13. As your ray of sickness cascades out towards the creature, 13. It seems like it's just about to connect, and then at the last second, the one with the key, you see it kind of like pulls its arm up in front of it, and a shield of magical energy seems to come in front of it, blocking the spell. That particular skeleton seems to be a caster of some kind, as it shields aside your poison, your ray of sickness spell, which casts into the wall, kind of coating the wall. You see it kind of fizzling against the stone as it burns it. So unfortunately, that does not connect. Is there anything else on your turn?
So it says that it poisons them if it misses them.
Yeah. Oh, on a failed save. Yeah, it's only if it fails.
It's on a hit.
Yeah, if it hits, it makes poison. A Constitution, and it makes a Constitution save, which it did not hit, unfortunately.
Okay.
So that does not apply. Yep, that's going to be all for your turn. Then I take it.
Yes.
All right. So the skeletons are going to act. The one at the back that was kind of. That did that spell, that shield spell, is going to look at you and do a spell back at you, and is going to cast once I get there. She'll touch at you. I assume a 17 hits. Your armor class.
Yeah.
You take one. You only take 1 point of necrotic damage as this This ghostly skeletal hand appears and drains some of your life energy. Two skeletons run at you, one at you, Elysia, and the other one also at you at the bottom of the stairs, as they have two, they look like they're wielding swords, but they've been like covered over with cloth and fabric, so they don't they're not actually able to pierce as they hit you with these clubs. A 6 against you, Elysia, and then a 21. Jesus, they're getting really lucky against you, Lumine. I assume you take another 6 points of that's bludgeoning, not piercing damage. Elysia, I assume a 6 misses.
I took 6.
Yeah, you took another 6,
okay.
Lumine.
I'm still alive.
Still up? All right, nice. And that's all for the skeleton's turn, as it's going to pass now to who was
Me.
Ainz. All right, great, Ainz. Go ahead. Actually, no, it was
sorry, my bad.
it was Solarien next. You had the natural one.
Wait,
Solarien,
do I
what
have
you wish to
my do I have my shield in spear out, or because I never said I did, but I assume that I took out
yeah,
my shield.
I'll assume. Yeah, that's fine. We'll say you have your spear.
Okay, thank you.
Sans, you there?
Yes.
Solarien? Okay, yeah. What do you wish to do? There's 3 skeletons in total, 1 caster and 2 of these regular ones.
Do I have enough room to say how high is the ceiling in this?
It's pretty short,
Room.
maybe like 10, 15 feet tops.
I would like to attack one of the skeletons with my quarterstaff.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll.
And you said that's 1d20 plus my...
Attack bonus, yep, so probably plus 4 or 5, something like that. I can look and tell you what that is if you'd like.
Please.
It's going to be a plus. That's going to be a plus 5. So that's going to be a 13 or a 14 and a. Whoa! Why are all these extra rolls happening?
Sorry, my bad.
So yeah, no problem. The first one definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that. That's going to be a D8 plus 3.
There we go. The very last one should be the one I rolled because I accidentally kept hitting the basic rolls.
So 6 points of bludgeoning damage. The quarterstaff kind of swings to the side and smacks the skeleton. You watch as the bones kind of jangle. That's the best jangled noise I got. Was that sound? I don't know what that was. And the bones kind of like scramble about. It's still solid, but it's almost not. Are you going to make an unarmed strike as well as a monk, which you can do?
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be another D20 plus 5, and then a D4 plus 3 damage if you hit. So roll to see if it hits. And that's the
natural 20.
Natural 20. So now roll me 2 D4 plus 3. Oh
9.
my god. Yeah, as your the quarterstaff kind of comes and catches it off guard, and then your leg just swings around, hitting it in the hip. The bones just scatter and kind of crumble across the ground, scattering through the room as that regular skeleton is destroyed. Excellent turn. I think that's going to now bring us to Ainz. What do you wish to do?
Can I charm the skeleton with the key?
You can attempt to.
That's what I'm going to do.
You do not know if it will necessarily work, but you could attempt to. I believe Charm Person gives them advantage if they are hostile to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The 19 is their base roll. I assume that's going to succeed?
Yes. Yes.
All right, yeah. You kind of call out this charm spell and try and beguile the skeleton at the back, but it seems a little bit too wily as it shrugs off your charm with kind of a yes. It makes a decidedly yeah sounding noise. Which brings us to the top of the initiative, I think, unless you have something else you want to do on your turn.
Nope.
All right, Elysia, what do you want to do?
Has anyone bloodied or boned up our key friend?
Nope, untouched as of yet.
Okay. She will point her glowing Monty at him and fire off a guiding bolt.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. 22 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that as well.
May you find peace with Salune. I got out there. Boom.
11 points of radiant damage as the guiding bolt cascades out. It strikes into the creature. The skeleton is now kind of illuminated in the dark, another beacon in the dark space. And you see it's also pretty heavily damaged as it kind of hisses at the light. Anything else on your turn?
That should do it.
Very good. That's going to bring us back to Lumine. What do you want to do?
Okay, so there's another skeleton near me that has the club in the.
Yep, there's a skeleton with the club, and then there's the one at the back that just got hit by Elise.
I'm going to cast command onto the skeleton near me and tell it to grovel.
It's going to make a wisdom saving throw against command. Yes.
Yeah, wisdom.
I believe so. 14. Does that succeed?
Yes, it does. Wait, that's based on what? The spell save DC?
Your spell save DC, yeah.
Yeah, that does.
Oh, geez, bad luck. The skeleton, as you command it, you just say grovel. The skeleton, you see for a brief moment, it seems like it's going to catch as the knees start to buckle, but it remains steadfast. Is there anything else on your turn?
Can I attack it?
Not on the same turn. You have to either attack or cast a spell if you had a bonus action.
Okay, I'm running back up the stairs and push Ainz in front of me.
You're engaged. That'll provoke an opportunity attack. Is that okay? It'll get a swing at you as you're running away. Do you want to go for it anyway?
Sure.
All right. Oh man, 19 to hit.
I tried to run up this turn. No.
That's 5 more points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, I passed out.
All right, yeah. You watch as he collapses. Lumine collapses onto the ground as she runs up to the stairs to kind of knock you out of the way, Ainz. That's going to bring us, in that case, to Scylla. Oh no, it's the skeleton's turn. The skeleton is going to make an attack against you, Elysia, and is going to use the club. 22, I assume, hits for 6. And the one at the back, the skeleton captain, is actually also going to. The skeleton captain goes ahead and makes an attack against the Lance Silverblood illusion, which you see it passes through the illusion, and the skeleton captain just frustrated at this deception you have levied upon him. And that's going to be doing it for the skeleton's turns. That brings us to Solarien. What do you want to do?
I would like to, if I can, run at the skeleton caster.
Yep, go for it. And you want to, actually nope, he already used his reaction, so we can't attack. Oh no, it's been his turn since. So yeah, it's going to provoke an opportunity attack. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. He's going to attack you with his club. Does a 16 hit. Man, they're rolling really high tonight.
It does.
You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as you run past the skeleton.
All right.
All right, cool. Yeah, so you run past and get right up into the face of the captain. What do you want to do?
I would like to attack it with my quarterstaff.
All right, go ahead and make me an attack roll. You have advantage because of the guiding bolt that Elysia hit with recently. So roll me 2 d20 and take the higher result.
You said that one was +5?
Yep, that's +5. So 17 + 5, 22 is definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage. That's a d8 + 3.
Ooh.
4 points of damage. Another hit. The skeleton captain's starting to look like it's taking some damage. You want to make a punch as well?
Yep.
All right, go ahead and roll that as well. Another d20 + 5. Not at advantage anymore. 11, unfortunately, is going to miss as it swings kind of into the hip. You see it catches some of like the scraps of armor that this thing is wearing. That's going to bring us, in that case, to Ainz. What do you want to do?
I'm going to cast, okay, let's see. On the skeletons that's closest to me.
All right.
I'm gonna firebolt.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll with Firebolt. 13 hits for 5 points of fire damage.
Yes.
As you strike the skeleton, this one was this one was undamaged. So as the fire kind of strikes into it, you see the bones kind of char and blacken a bit, but it's still got some fight in it. Anything else?
Nope.
Elysia.
I kind of just go, uh-oh.
Elysia, what do you wish to do?
Elysia is all about this skeleton captain, so... Oh man, yeah, she's gonna use her last first level spell slot to re-guiding bolt him.
All right, go ahead and make an attack. Eight unfortunately misses. The guiding bolt
I am going to
crashes.
go ahead and use a favored by the gods, because that just might hit. 13.
13. It's just about to strike into the creature when the arm flies up and another shield appears in front of the creature, knocking your guiding bolt to the side.
I will use a bonus action to just kind of glare at it unimpressed.
Fair enough. As the skeleton in the back says, "Your guiding bolt cannot affect me," and that's all for your turn, I assume.
Indeed.
Lumine, I need you to make me a death saving throw. It's just a flat d20. You have one success. You creep closer to life. That is going to bring. That is going to bring us to the foe turn, who is going to swing a club at. Who's going to swing a club at? Actually, the only one that's range is Elysia, so it's going to attack you.
That hits.
For another 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and the captain at the back is going to cast a chill touch at you, Ainz. You take 7 points of necrotic damage.
I'm unconscious.
Okay. Ainz also falls to the skeletons. Both of these creatures are very near defeat, but it's going to be pretty close. That's all for their turn. The creature was right up in your face. I forgot about you, who was right next to him, but that's okay. That's going to bring it to Solarien.
I am tired of this dang skeleton captain hurting my comrades, so I'm going to attack him with my quarterstaff.
All right, go ahead and make an attack roll. All right, that definitely hits. Roll damage. Plus additional 3. The quarterstaff swings and knocks the head off the skeleton captain, which shatters against the wall, and you see the key within the ding 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 fall onto the ground.
Does anything happen to the other skeleton when I defeat the skeleton captain?
No, this skeleton's still up. You still got to punch if you want to go over and punch him.
I would like to punch him.
All right, go ahead. Roll me another d20 plus 5.
You can do it.
15 also hits. Roll damage. It shouldn't have been a D8. It should have only been a D4 plus 3.
Let me redo that then.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Another swing. The skeleton's almost completely slain, but he still stands as it passes now to Ainz' death saving throw.
That's a what?
Just roll a D20. Yeah. You also have one success. As it goes back to the top of the initiative, Elysia, one skeleton remains. Just one simple, puny skeleton.
Please, for all that is holy, just kill the thing already.
Elysia is going to dig deep and just give a solid boop on the forehead with Monty, which I did not set up a macro for that, but I believe he counts as a +1 club or just a normal club.
I think it's plus. I'll say it's +1. Go ahead. I can't remember. Just roll it up.
Hey, and I will offhand give him a good old dagger boop. Hey.
Unfortunately, both of those miss. As you, Elysia, not in particularly set up for hand-to-hand combat, you swing and missed twice, unfortunately.
I just kind of look at her with like, what just happened?
Yeah, you get a look of reproachment, so to speak, or confusion from Solarien. But I think that's all for your turn, so that's going to be Lumine. I need you to make me another death save. If you roll a natural 20, you do stand and rise. You have one success and one failure. That's going to bring us to the skeleton turn, who is going to swing at you once more, Elysia. Not quite yet downed. 12.
Oh man, that just meets my AC and just meets my remaining hit points.
Oh man, 3 people are downed, as all that stands between this skeleton and a resounding victory are, Actually, I'm sorry, I completely forgot this. Neither of you need to make death saves. These skeletons were intentionally attacking non-lethally. I forgot about that. That's going to bring us to, Solarien. You're the last vestige of your team, and 1 skeleton remains. A 12, unfortunately, just misses. You still have a punch. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that was my attack. Yeah, so Solarien, you still have 2 attacks. Never mind. I got confused. Go ahead and roll me a d20 plus 5.
Before I attack, I just kind of like shake my head a little bit, then go in for the attack.
All right, go for it. Natural 20. Yeah, go ahead and roll 2d8 plus 3, but you definitely kill this skeleton.
Yes.
So 7. So yeah, 7. We'll call it 14 for the crit, plus 2.
No, that would have been if I actually rolled.
Okay, yeah, well, 16, fair enough. You crash into the skeleton, which clutters to dust around you. Your friends are all still kind of fine. You grab the key, and you have won the day. You now have all 3 keys that are required to escape this place. Given time, you are able to wake up your friends and kind of clamber back up the stairs, I'll say. For the sake of brevity, as we've gone a bit longer than we were supposed to, you all stand and eventually, come back to your senses after being knocked out by these skeletons. And you now have 3 keys.
I ask everyone if they're all right.
And I kind of just look at him and go, okay, what's the good news?
Well, we have all 3 keys. All we need to do is find out what locks they go to.
Okay.
Elysia
We
will
still
go
have
ahead.
one question with the Birdman, right? Well, Mr. Chicken.
Yep. And Lumine, what were you going to say?
I just said none.
Oh, I
Because
thought you
there's
were
no
gonna say-
good news.
Oh, okay.
Elysia will
nice.
go ahead and drop a 2nd level cure wounds in the other 2.
All right, yeah, so both of you kind of find yourselves healed back up as you walk up the stairs. I mean, it's not like it's a super difficult task to get the keys in the locks. You just try them in the different locks, and eventually the door gets opened. It's pretty tight on time. You can see that you only had, maybe looking at the hourglass, maybe about 5 minutes worth of sand left, because that combat happened a lot faster than it actually did in-game. And so, you turn the keys in the locks and open the door, and you have successfully escaped the room. Rodger stands outside to greet you as you have obtained victory.
Oh,
All right.
hey guys, welcome back. You guys did that pretty quick. Usually folks go over time. How'd you like it? I love that game. It's my favorite one of my team building activities here. What do you all think?
It was quite interesting until I got stabbed with a machete.
I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Oh my god!
I'm casting Chill Touch at him.
Oh, it's so cold. Why are you?
Roger, are you okay?
I think you broke my glasses. I don't even have glasses. How'd you do that? Wait, what? Okay, you 2 didn't like the game. Elysia, how was it? Oh man,
It was pretty fun.
Broken.
Well, other than the skeletons, but it was fun on the total.
Yeah, you guys look like crap. What happened? Nothing in there is actually supposed to be able to hurt you.
I look at him like, really?
I decide to tell him about the giant arm that punched through the big wall with the machete that kind of just stabbed me.
What?
Was that not part of the test?
I mean, unless Bartholomew added something new, I don't think.
And as Rodger is in the middle of that sentence, you see as all of a sudden, emerging quickly from behind the building, you see a macheted hand reach out and reach down and slash Rodger in the back. He is covered completely in blood, which douses the area as this strange kind of killer kind of looms up above you. As our adventures ends, this kind of monstrous figure stands before you as perhaps you fight, perhaps you run in terror. But that will leave us for the next adventure to find out what happened with this individual. As you have all been successful in this particular adventure, despite what may happen after it, which means that each of you have gained 100 Bartholomew bucks. Additionally, you've all gained 1 point of experience, which means that if you were level 1, you are now level 2.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
And Rodger's dead.
And Rodger lays. Rodger the Gnome lays slain upon the ground as things have taken a dark turn at Camp Crystal Lake. No one saw this coming.
I just kind of poked the corpse with my foot a little bit.
Well, the killer is running at you with a giant machete, so you're probably either running or fighting this guy, is what's actually happening, I think.
Not necessarily.
Or maybe
if
you just
commit to just poking the body. That's okay.
I was going to say, I guess if you're poking, you might just die while poking the guy. But either way, I think